Okay, I wonder if those lights are too obnoxious. Oh well, we'll try to deal with it as best we can. Hello, everybody. Hi, Miguel. I just thought I'd make a video. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Just to take a few minutes to share a little bit about my journey, my passion, my dream. I hope, I hope you like the music a little bit. I just got that just to get things going, to show everyone what I've been able to accomplish and the opportunities that I had when I was very young, and why music is so important to me and why I want to give back. So part of my journey, back in 2016, I started a youth orchestra. It started small in a very rural community grew into something really very special. Even though it was a very small community, it was as big as any of the youth orchestras in the city here in Utah, Salt Lake City. We became very popular, very successful as the Uinta Basin Youth Chamber Orchestra based out of Vernal, and eventually big enough to go on tours all over the country. We even went to Canada. We took the youth orchestra to Canada to prepare for an international tour. We wanted to go to China, and we had all the connections, and then COVID happened, and things kind of fell apart there for a while, and I decided to move back to Salt Lake City. But that experience really showed me how powerful music is, especially when it brings people together. So I've always loved teaching, especially violin and viola. This is a viola. I don't have my violin here, but violins are a little bit smaller, a little bit higher pitch. The viola's lower pitch, kind of the middle tone. But I love teaching, especially these two instruments. Teaching private lessons, conducting the youth orchestra, they gave me some of the most meaningful moments in my life. A lot of the highlights of my entire life came from just teaching these kids. I really have a passion, but beyond teaching, there is a dream that's been growing inside me, and I really want to share this with everybody. So I want to be able to give back to students in a bigger way. I want you to know what this channel supports. Whether you watch for the dog training tutorials that I do, or just to get a sneak peek into my life, my interests, talents, and hobbies, and things that I like to do. I think it's just good for everyone to know what it is that you're supporting by watching this channel. So my dream is to donate high quality instruments such as this one. This is a professional instrument, to young musicians, especially college students who are incredibly talented but don't always have access to instruments that can really help them reach the next level. They're paying for college and trying to get by, and they don't always have scholarships, they don't always have family members that can help them. A lot of them have to get loans and things like that, but an instrument like this is really necessary for a student to learn the things they need to become professional. An instrument like this costs about $18,000. The bow itself was over $2,000. So what I want to do, my vision, and this is where my vision comes in, if I can build enough support through YouTube, through sponsorships, or through other opportunities, I want to use those resources to make instruments and give them to students in need. So if you watch my channel, one of the last videos I posted, just a short, is I'm building a replica of this instrument, and it's taken me about 3 years to do. So I mean, music has given me so much. I mean, opportunities and friendships and experiences that I'll never forget. And I know how life-changing it can be for a student to finally get their hands on an instrument that matches their talent and their passion and can give them the same meaningful experiences that I had. So that's what I'm working towards. This is my dream. I'd love your support in making it happen, whether that is subscribing or sharing hi Emma, sharing my dream with your communities, or just spreading the word. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to my story. But if you go onto my channel, you will see the last video that I posted is a viola that looks almost identical to this one. It's taken me 3 years to build this. I've been studying how to make them myself. It's been a very long journey. My first instrument has taken me 3 years to finish because I have to travel back and forth to my teacher's workshop. I'm studying from a famous luthier, a famous violin maker, and now I've learned enough of the process I'll be able to make more on my own and start finishing instruments faster and from home. So that's why I wanted to do this live, just to gain a little bit of support from you guys. But yeah, Emma said hi. Miguel, you still here? If you're still watching, put a comment in there. Let me know who's still there, and just let me know what you guys think of this vision, of this dream. If you have any questions about it, Jay Schmidt, hello. I just appreciate everybody even being here, even for a minute or two. If you have any requests, maybe I can play something for you. I don't know, entertain a little bit. Maybe you're eating dinner and you need some music to go along with that. Um, anyway, so that is what I want to do. If you're just coming in and watching now, I've explained how I have been learning how to make these instruments, and my dream is to create enough support and following to support me making instruments for free for college students that are at that level where they need a professional instrument. Like I've mentioned, this instrument cost $18,500 just for the viola. For professional viola, that's about what it costs on the low end. Most professional makers now are charging anywhere from $25,000 to $35,000. It takes it takes about a month just to do the woodwork if you're an experienced maker. For me, the one that I've just finished is taking me 3 years, again, because I'm going back and forth to his shop, learning how to do this one step at a time. If you look around the edge here, this black line is actually a piece of wood that's inlaid into the spruce just to protect the spruce. And I spent 6 months alone practicing that on other pieces of wood before I actually put it on the instrument that I'm building. So just to give you an idea of the intricacies and the things that why these instruments are so expensive. It comes down to the quality of the wood, the quality of the workmanship, and the overall sound that they produce in the end. But they're getting harder and harder to come by. There is a high demand of students at that level. Students are only getting more advanced in their playing, and to be able to get an instrument is just getting harder and harder because they're getting more and more expensive. So, I mean, the world that we live in, you only have one life, and I want to give back. I had so many opportunities when I was in high school. I want to really give back to the music community and be able to build these instruments and donate them to college students. So that is my dream. That's my one life dream. If I don't accomplish anything else but to love my children the best that I know how, and to give back to the music community in some way, one way or another, then I will die feeling like I have left a meaningful legacy behind. So that's it. Maybe I'll play another song or two, and you guys can pop some questions in there or let me know what your thoughts are. And yeah, I usually try every day that I practice to throw in a little bit of Bach. Johann Sebastian Bach, to me, is the greatest musician in all of history. And even for musicians in general, we all kind of believe that. So anyways, play a little bit of Bach. So. Um, okay, that one was maybe a little bit more melancholy for most of your takes or your tastes. Okay, Master and Commander. Who's ever seen that? I love the music on that. I can play maybe a little bit of that stuff. Can you play Rondo Capricious by Saint-Saëns? I can, but it's easier on a violin, and I don't have one right now at the moment. That is so good. Oh, thank you, Smokey. Appreciate that. Most of the time, people just ask me, "Hey, can you play The Devil Went Down to Georgia?" And I had one of my students actually. His dad said, "If I'm going to pay for these lessons, he's going to learn this song." So we learned it together. I do know how to play that. Um, Anyways, let's see what else you guys saying there. Yeah, so I see more people are coming in. I'm going to share a little bit again, just briefly. What I want to do with this channel is to create a following that's big enough that I can make money from this channel to support buying wood, buying supplies, things to make instruments. So I have been working on one instrument, my very first one. I just finished it. I just have to do the setup work, like make the bridge and the pegs. It takes a couple days. It's taken me 3 years because I have to go back and forth to my teacher's shop who lives 2 hours away. But now I know how to do it enough to do it from home, and I want to make these instruments for students who have a need for these expensive instruments. So this instrument was $18,000, and that is nowadays on the low end. $18,000 is on the low end for instruments, but I want to make them for free. I can do them at close to the same quality as this one is. Let's see, why is that the song everyone always asks for? The Devil Went Down to Georgia. I don't know. It's just I play in a quartet. We do weddings and events and stuff, and people always come up and say, "Hey, you take requests. Can you play Devil Went Down to Georgia?" And I guess if you can play that, you can play anything. Is what the most non-musicians think it's the hardest song in the world. It's really not that difficult. It's easier on the violin though. The viola, out of all four instruments, the violin, viola, cello, and bass, the viola is actually the most difficult to play of the four. Because it just has to do with the size and the string length. They're not compatible with each other. If the string thickness actually needs an instrument that's about this big, not this big, so it's impossible to play an instrument that size. But so we're having to deal with an instrument that doesn't project like the other three do, because they're more compatible with the string thickness and size of the instrument. So anyways. Yeah, it's so interesting. Thank you. Yeah, shout out to Smokey. Anyways, so yeah, you guys have any questions, concerns, jokes, gripes, comments, threats, blackmail, emotional outbursts, anything like that you want to ask? So my name is Brad. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. I started learning it, the viola when I was 10, just in the 5th grade. We had the option in school to either learn an instrument or go and sing, and the lady across the street had an extra viola, just happened to have a viola. She lived across the street from us, and let me borrow it. So that was the first opportunity that I had. Mrs. Bowers, I think her name was Laura Bowers, she gave me a viola for a few years and then I used school instruments after they moved away. I rented from the school. And then when I was 13, I got a job. And Fortnite balls. Anyways, I got a job working at just the Pizza Hut and the McDonald's at the time. At first, I had a paper route, and then later Pizza Hut, McDonald's, just through high school to pay for my lessons, to pay for my instruments, and just kind of made my own way. I didn't live at home. I didn't live with my mom. Didn't live with my dad. I lived with other people. I just kind of a self-proclaimed foster student. I kind of had a rough upbringing, so I went to wherever I felt safe, and the viola was a way for me just to escape and release kind of the bad moments that I was going through in life. And so that was my journey in high school. I would get out of school and I would just practice until I went to bed. And I was studying from Chris McKellar at the time. He was the principal violist of the Utah Symphony. And we studied the Bartok Concerto, the Block Suite, and those are considered the hardest written for viola at the time. Anyway, there's been other things written since then, but anyways. Anyways, that's just the introduction to the Bartok Concerto. Haven't actually practiced that in a couple of years. I don't know what Fortnite balls means, but thanks, Roy Big Bone. Weirdo. Just kidding. Appreciate you here. But yeah, I studied with Chris McKellar through high school and one other Utah Symphony violist, Marsha Bramble. And they gave me all kinds of opportunities. I eventually got to play with the Utah Symphony in high school and sat next to my teacher on the front stand and played with Pavel Kogan, who was the conductor at the time. And what an incredible experience that I had as a kid to be able to have a world-class experience like that. So that was my vision when I started the youth orchestra in 2016, is to give those kids a very similar experience. And I didn't care what age they were, what level they were. Kids are so resilient. You put something on their stand and they will just learn it. You take any of the standard pieces. We played Beethoven symphonies, we played Dvorak symphonies, and I put it on their stand and they said, how are we ever going to learn this? I said, you will practice it and you will come prepared next week and we'll put it together. And we performed it at professional quality. And I learned from the time I was a kid that that's what kids do. If you challenge them, they'll take the challenge. Now there's kids in college who are at that level where they could become professional if they're playing on professional instruments. So that's what I want to do, is make professional instruments for these kids, for these students that really need them. And I have connections all over the state of Utah. It's kind of viola capital of the world. The greatest violist that ever lived, William Primrose, retired here in Provo, Utah, and it just kind of became viola central for the whole world. And there's a big community of viola players here that I'm connected to, and can connect me with students who are in need of these instruments. So anyways, that's it. At this point I'm just rambling unless anyone has any questions, or want to know more about me, or what my vision is here, or how I came up with that, just let me know. I'll hang out here for another minute or two, but I'm kind of out of words now. so yeah, that's a little bit of my story and how I got to this point, and that's my vision of where I want to go. and I hope that I can gain some support here to be able to do that. So anyways, I'm gonna end it there. Thank you all, and have a great night.